back to the Teachable Woman podcast. I am Reverend Michele O's. I am with the one and only Reverend Mrs. Deanna P. Cherry, and together we are teachers of good things. Today, our sharing is going to be a little different. Is that right, Mrs. Cherry?
That's right. We got some good stuff to share because we are teachers of good things.
All right, there we go. We are excited to talk with you about the upcoming Teachable Woman Retreat in Houston, Texas, July 17 through 20. Although we want you to know that our teaching portion will be done on the 19th. You are free to stay the night and enjoy the stay. Join us at church on Sunday or free to book your flight. Make sure that it is after 2 p.m. on the 19th, which is that Saturday. So, we are going to be discussing the transformative power of prayer. And Mrs. Cherry and I have so many natural examples that have occurred in our lives that we are going to share with you that when we just gave it up and left it to the Lord in prayer, how God answered so miraculously. But we're making sure that God has an opportunity to develop a cadre of women who will, instead of
Know how to
fuss and
pray.
fight and worry and be anxious, will get on our knees. And even if we're not on our knees, but set our minds and hearts to prayer so that His will is done in the earth. And then we just want to set a watch to see how the Lord responds to the prayers that we usher up to heaven. All right, Mrs. Cherry, share with us.
There is not a person alive, male, female, married, unmarried, single, separated, divorced, who is not in need of prayer and who
Yes.
should know how to pray effectively. You want to learn how? Come on and join us. We're going to
Come on,
teach
come
you.
on. That's good. I like that. I like that. Really. And don't forget one of the most wonderful things if you are married and you want to, we should say, you can bring your husband to the retreat. The men will join us on the last day. We will do a live stream of the very last session, and then we'll have the men pray us out. So we're excited to have them with us. Some of the husbands are really all for it now because they get to come. And if you are thinking about not letting your husband come, don't let him hear this podcast because we just feel the peace.
Go on and bring him. He will have a blast. I have talked to 2 or 3 men from last year, and they just love the environment. They love the fact that they could have some quiet time with their wives and they could go hold hands in one of the world's most beautiful malls.
Yes.
And they didn't have to shop. They just ended up buying ice cream or some fast food that they would never get at home. The men enjoyed it, and so will your husband.
Yes, absolutely. There's not enough can be said about quiet time alone
Yes.
with your husband, away from the day to day responsibilities in a different environment. And the Westin Oak is not the Westin Oak Hotel in Houston, Texas. It's not your sneeze hotel. It's a very nice location. And so you will be able not only to enjoy the environment, but enjoy the Word of God, allow God to minister to your heart, go back to your room, and be able to enjoy private time with your husband. That's a lot.
Yeah, yeah,
That's a lot.
yeah. That's right.
Look, Mrs. Cherry and I can't do that anymore, but we are certainly encouraging you to take advantage of this opportunity.
But we remember when.
Yes, we
And
do.
with the man I was married to, there were very few opportunities for us to get away alone in a fabulous hotel and just chill with spa services. And the only way we really did it, Reverend, was when we would take a cruise.
Yes,
Yeah.
understood. Understood. So listen, you can leave the planning to us, right? We've got the location, we've secured the hotel, you're going to be taught. All you have to do is show up.
And that's not asking much.
That's not asking much, right?
Listen,
That is
we,
not asking much.
we
Now,
I heard someone say they were offended when Reverend O's and I love to use the expression Hebrew slaves. So now I've started using African slave. But
Well,
listen, we're going to be the ones working like African slaves. You're going to be like the queens of Sheba, just
there you
lying
go.
back, enjoying us, your husbands, and the mall.
And the atmosphere, right? And by the way, Hebrews were Africans, just in case, you know, the
That's right.
deluge caused things to be messed up a little bit in terms with who had to go where. However, that was the flood. However, yeah. Listen, Mrs. Cherry, there may be some people who are saying, well, you know what, Reverend O's and Reverend Cherry, I would love to be with you this year. However, it is not in my budget to be able to do so. And with the uncertainty of what's happening in our country right now, I don't even know if it would be a wise decision to plan a retreat. And with that, I want to say this: understood, understood. Those are all legitimate concerns. It is never an unwise investment to invest in your own growth and development. And we're not talking about investing in a quote skill. We're talking about investing in your life in Christ Jesus, which is the most valuable thing that you have. Then we're also going to suggest to you that there are some ways in which maybe how we live at this moment, if we start cutting some cost or doing some things a little differently, we can raise the money that we need so it doesn't have to come out of your monthly budget. You know, one opportunity might be this is spring cleaning time. Many people are getting ready for the summer and we're cleaning out closets and we're shifting some of the wool stuff to bring out the spring and summer things. And why not have a yard sale? Why not declutter a little bit? Get rid of some of the excess, the things that you keep folding and putting in vacuum bags and storing away that you haven't touched in years. If you haven't touched it in 2 years, you really may not need it. Why not put it out there on the quality table in the yard sale and allow someone else to come and help pay for your retreat?
Mhm.
So maybe you raise all of it at a yard sale, maybe you raise some of it at a yard sale. What are some other ideas we could use, Mrs. Cherry, to help the funding for this retreat not
Well,
to come out of the budget?
well, we could have a group yard sale, like a flea market at
Sounds
maybe our
good.
local churches. Get 7 of your best buddies together, or 10 or 12 of your best buddies together, and see if you can have something at your church. And that would be fun. You can also do, I have a friend who makes delicious cakes. You can do a cake bake
All
and
right.
you can sell your cakes. Cakes cost a lot of money. If you don't believe
Yes,
it,
they
look
do.
online and see how much a quality cake costs. And you could sell it for less, but all of the profit will go to you. And listen, when you're cleaning out your clothes, my son made a statement in Sunday's message that I'll never forget. Tuesday night, he was teaching on the principle of organization.
Mm.
Organization is God's plan to simplify your life,
Simplify.
right?
Yes.
But he made a statement. He said, you don't have to organize junk. You get rid of junk. You
Yes.
listen, if that size 8, you haven't been in it in 18 years, let that baby go. You ain't going to get back there now. Trust me.
Oh,
You
don't
know,
break my heart, Miss C. Don't break my heart.
we talking to ourselves too here. But you know what you have that you're not going to use.
Right.
Sell it. Let
Sell it.
somebody else be blessed by it. People are
Right.
looking for all kinds of bargains nowadays with these
Yes.
high costs. Look at them shoes that hurt your feet. Get rid
Oh,
of them.
Lord.
Get rid
Break
of
it. Look, break my heart and my toes.
them. But every one of us, we can look through our homes and we can identify
Yes.
something that we could
Yes.
let go
You're right.
and do that and have fun in the process. If you have it in your neighborhood, you might get to meet neighbors that you've not met before.
Right.
You might have a neighbor like I do that just lost a mate, and they might be looking for a way to get rid of some of the mate's things in a way
Yeah.
that would be
Yeah.
fun. and you wouldn't think you're hurting their feelings. They in heaven
Yeah,
or wherever, and you
that's right.
can't hurt their feelings. Their feelings are dead. So
Right.
be strong. Go have some, make fun out of it. Make
That
fun
sounds
out of it.
wonderful. That
Yeah.
sounds wonderful.
You might even have some curtains that you took down 999 years ago. You're never going to put them back up, but somebody
Somebody.
might be looking for those things. So just make an assessment and then you might make some money in the process.
There you go. Now, some of the other things that we had briefly talked about before we started this commercial is we oftentimes go to places like Starbucks or Chick-fil-A. We got our weekly hunts or maybe our daily stops, things that we could just sacrifice for a period of time. I mean, think about it. If we spend $5 on a cup of coffee and we've got about 90 days, that's $450. That's more than the
Ooh,
registration. That
my
left you a
goodness.
little evening eating money, right?
Mm.
So, things like that we could do if you're flying with a group or you know a group of people that are coming, then contact the airlines and look for some group rates to save on some money. We also would suggest that I know it's hard to think about it, but maybe for the next, let's say, 80 days, sacrifice getting our nails done. Maybe do them ourselves. Sacrifice maybe getting hair done and do it ourselves. Keep it
Yeah.
washed and clean and just make some sacrifices until we are able to earn what we want to
Mhm.
earn. Now,
Mhm.
here's a benefit, and this may be something you had not thought about. If you are traveling alone to the retreat, and you want to be in a double, because if you're in a double, it's $75 a night per person. That's just 2 nights, right? In the At the Westin Oaks, oh my God, the Westin Oaks Hotel, excuse me,
That's all right.
in their doubles, it's two king size beds in the room, right? Two king size beds in the room. So there's going to be plenty room in there for two people. So you can share that with someone. If you need us to help you find a roommate, we will. Just send us a piece of email and tell us that you're coming, but you need a roommate, somebody that's willing to split that cost with you. But what we need you to do right now is to make sure you make reservations at the hotel. You don't have to pay anything right now, but you do have to make reservations because they need to properly set aside a room for you, and we need to properly count on you being at the retreat. So it's time for those numbers to add up. So we got sacrificing we can do, right? We just finished Lenten season where we learned how to sacrifice. So we are no stranger to sacrifice. It is part of our Christian walk. We can do that. We can sacrifice the Starbucks. We can sacrifice Pete's coffee, whose ever coffee you drink. If it's taking much of the income, we can sacrifice it. Or if it's tea, or if it's a milkshake, whatever it is you do, don't think just because we didn't name it, we don't mean it. We mean it.
Yeah.
We
And
can sacrifice.
I want to share with you this retreat. You don't think about it, I'm sure, but this retreat is a huge sacrifice for Reverend O's and for me.
Yes, it is.
And, we are more or less employing you, begging you, maybe, right now to sign up because we are truly walking by faith that you will show up because we know if you show up, you're going to be a blessing. So please, if you're planning to come, it's imperative that you pay that deposit at least.
Yes.
And please, 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 please don't ask us to refund a non refundable deposit. We can't afford it. Reverend O's and I don't make a dime
We
out
do
of this
not.
retreat. And
We do not.
you have to help us to keep doing what we're doing. The podcasts, we sacrifice our time, our schedules, our work, the all that we do because the Lord is leading us to do it. But right now, we've never asked you before. We need your help.
Yes.
We need you to sign up and show up so that we can have another wonderful retreat, serving the Lord, honoring the Lord, and rejoicing together in the Lord as we are being transformed. That means we're going to be changed to be unchangeable.
Unchangeable. That is so true. We want you to know that we also have a Bring Seven code, BRING, the number seven. And that code means that if you can bring seven women who were not registered last year, then your registration will be paid. But what that should share with you is that there's not a lot of overhead in our registration fee. We're primarily paying the food and beverage for the hotel cost. So, and that's why it takes seven, not to mention that seven is a perfect number of completion. But mostly we want you to know that there's not a lot of overhead in what we are charging. So it will take seven people to pay your free registration, if you will. We want you to share the podcast. We want you to share about the retreat. So feel free to do that as well. In addition to the yard sale, the sacrificing of the coffee, the hair, and the nails, and anything else that we can do to make sure that we're able to be together. So we're excited to serve you. This is not a paying gig for Mrs. Cherry and I. This is a side. It's not even a hustle because there's no money coming in on the hustle, but it's actually our obedience to the Lord and an opportunity to serve you for Him. It's an extension of His love toward you, and we're honored to do it. But as Mrs. Cherry said, we need your help in doing it. We cannot do this alone, right? Mrs. Cherry told me last week that we are two widow women obeying God. That's exactly what we are. We are two widow women, and we don't have two incomes coming in. I'm going to go back to two widow women obeying God. So that's our commercial. We're excited to have you. We are going to have a wonderful time in Houston. For those of you who can make it, please register and then reserve your spot at the hotel. For those of you who cannot, you can always lift us up in prayer. You can make a donation and prepare to be with us in spirit if you're not going to be able to be there naturally. But we believe that where there is a will, there is also a way.
There's
While
a
there is
way.
a readiness to will, we perform
Mm-hmm.
out of what we have, not out of
Yes,
what we don't have. And here's
that's
the
right.
other thing we know, according to Joshua, the very first chapter, that if you set your heart to obey God, He will not fail you or
Amen.
forsake you. So set your
Amen.
heart, do that which you can in the natural, perform out of what you have, and we'll see you in July.
See you in July. Pray for us. And please, if you can't come, send us a little bit of help. We need it.
Go to teachablewoman.com to do all of that. Bye.
Bye bye.
Greetings to every teachable woman. It's that time again. Reverend Michele O's and Reverend Deanna P. Cherry as host of the Teachable Woman podcast and teachers of good things want to thank all those who attended, participated, shared their gifts, and worked the 2024 Teachable Woman Retreat. It was a great success, and the remarkable feedback and response to it is still coming in. Your podcast hosts are seeking out the best options to make the audio and or video teachings from the 2024 retreat available to you. With that said, we are now preparing for the 2025 Teachable Woman Retreat, and you want to be ready. It is scheduled for July 17th through the 20th, 2025, and will be held in Houston, Texas, at the same location, the Westin Oaks Houston, at the Galleria. Here's an insider nudge to go ahead and register or pre-register. Simply go to our website at teachablewoman.com. On the homepage at the top far right, you'll find a gold button clearly labeled 2025 Retreat Registration. Click there, begin the process. The total registration fee is $350. You can make one payment for the total amount, or if you choose, you can pay in 2 installments. Pay an initial partial payment of $100 to secure your place. It is important to note that this initial down payment is non-refundable. Your $250 balance will then be due by the final due date. Once you've completed this billing step, return to the home page, scroll down a bit, and you'll find a place to join the mailing list. Finally, if you are not already a subscriber, click on the gold button labeled subscribe, which is directly below the mailing list information. Once subscribed, you will receive notifications about upcoming podcasts. That's a total of 3 things on your to-do list once online at teachablewoman.com. Thanks in advance to all who register or plan to. Now, back to the podcast. We encourage you to listen, re-listen, and share these podcasts. And as always, your support is greatly appreciated.